In 2014, I rented the 18-55 2.8-4. Until then, I had only used the 35 1.4. 2 stops separate the two at the open end and 3 at the closed. One is a zoom and the other is a prime. The 35's labeled aperture ring wears hard bookends at either extreme and is studded with subtle detents at every third stop. Deeper ones are dug in at every full stop. The zoom's aperture ring, on the other hand, spins forever on endless, unlabeled, and soft-voiced bearings. The 35mm autofocus motor is obnoxiously slow and grindy, while the 18-55 snaps 2 in a jiffy. And of course, the 18-55 is stabilized. Originally, I wasn't keen on the 18-55. I disliked its unlabeled aperture ring, its tiny focus ring, the way its long end closed to f4, causing the Pro 1 to stutter in lowish light, and I really disliked its lack of controls for manual focus. But 6 years on, and especially with the current XF lens catalog in mind, I am convinced that it is Fujifilm's best XF lens. Scratch that. It may be the best APS-C lens ever made. It's one of those rare lenses that proves that competition isn't necessary and may not even be desirous. There still exists no true equivalents in the full-frame world. Sure, you have your 28-80s and your 24-105s and your 24-120s, some at a constant f2.8 or f4, but not a one benefits from all of the following: silent motor, OIS, modern optics, and breath-free focus. And not one of its full-frame or APS-C competitors is as compact. Yes, you could argue that in true equivalent terms, a hypothetical full-frame 28-83 f4 to 5.6 OIS could be just as small, and more likely than not, it would be less expensive. But there is no way Canon or Nikon would make a lens with equivalent specs and attention paid to premium quality materials. You have only to look at Canon's latest plastic RF 24-105 and various incarnations of the EF 24-105 lenses. They are either large, or plastic, or cheaply built, or lack video-friendly STM focus motors, or some combination of each. Heck, even Canon's latest EF 24-70 2.8 flubs about in a composite barrel, makes do with printed rather than engraved labels, and zips and zags along with a USM motor. Fujifilm's 18-55 trumps each of those points. And the same thing plays out in the camps Nikon, Pentax, Sony, Olympus, and Leica. No one in the mirrorless APS-C world makes a metal lens with the same feature set in any mount, mirrorless or DSLR. Canon's excellent and slower EFS and DSLR STM 18-55 is larger, slower, and cheaper feeling. It is just as sharp, and on the right Canon body focuses faster, smoother, and closer, but it is a monster in comparison. And while I rarely use its focus ring, it is a loose and awful mess. Fujifilm have higher-end lenses. They have faster focusing lenses. They have lenses with weather sealing, fast aperture ranges, labeled aperture rings, and better ergonomics. In equivalent terms, some compete with the best full-frame lenses out there, but not a one combines every of the 18-55 strengths in such a compact body. Even Olympus's diminutive 12-24 f2.8 Pro is longer and heavier, and at the wide end, slave to a smaller sensor, its f2.8 aperture is effectively closer, in APS-C terms at least, to f3.5. Yes, it is weather sealed and bright from end to end and built better, but each of those works against it when combined with many of the tiny M43 bodies you'd normally attach it to. Apart from new camera entries from Canon and Panasonic, so go things in the worlds of mirrorless. Fujifilm's XS1 and XH1 handle most X lenses well, but if your hands are medium to large or use heavier lenses, every other camera requires add-on grips or well-trained ninja fingers to securely operate. I'm not a big fan of the 18-55's bokeh or aperture range. Heck, I'm not a big fan of how it draws, but neither am I a fan of the 16-55's bokeh, draw style, or anything but its sharpness. But every of the 18-55's provisos are necessary, whereas I think the f2.8 zoom could, in various ways, be improved upon for the X mount. It took years for entropy to eat away at the simple and clear original ethos behind the X mount. As such, the 18-55, which debuted early on, shined then, and shines now. The compromises inherent in its design are logical and play to the strengths and weaknesses of Fujifilm's compact sensors, compact cameras, and the once useful and optimistic mirrorless format. It nailed what it needed to do in a way no other zoom and few primes for the X system can or do. And it did this whilst forging a path free of both direct competitors and equivalents. Bravo.